Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Tales of the Mezzorin, our zero episode series, where we get to know a little bit more about the characters that'll be participating in the campaign proper. Our scene today starts in a mountain town, far to the north on the continent of Infate. It's a small, out-of-the-way town known as Kellenheim, and its prominent features is that it essentially sets up into a mountain pass. It's sort of like a town that many merchants have to pass to get to the Dwarven lands. And when we start our little tale here, we start with an individual waking up for the first time today, a soldier of sorts. A soldier is a bit unique to the contemporaries that she serves alongside. This soldier is of a unique race. Not necessarily for this region, for her parentage actually live up in the mountains themselves, not too far away. We start our scene here as I will let the character introduce themselves and tell us what they're doing as they wake up in the longhouse barracks next to the bunks of fellow soldiers who are either up for the day or bedding down for the day, depending on their guard post.
Macha, she doesn't wake up slowly, but she takes her time and she stretches, make sure that everything that needs to be popped is popped, and then we'll curtly go wash her face and put on her uniform. She doesn't like to waste time doing anything special or fancy, just doing what she has to do. Maybe go to like the mess hall or something and get something to eat. Doesn't really say much to anyone else.
On a day like today, the mess hall is serving up just a very basic meal, sort of a thick gruel, sort of made out of like potato meal, so very similar in consistency and taste to grits. It's not really meant to have a whole lot of flavor to it. Maybe some peppercorns are able to be sprinkled into it and whatnot. It's more meant to be warm and filling, as even inside these long houses with a hearth on either end providing an amount of heat, there's always just that hanging chill that pervades throughout the entire town. It's really only the nobles of the town that really have any sort of reprieve, as most of their houses or estates are built on the few geothermic vents that provide a certain amount of warmth naturally. Aside from that, there is some freshly made bread and probably some pieces of venison that it's been sort of dried out into jerky, and then of course your standard sausages. As a soldier, a defender of this town, you are afforded with a pretty sizable spread. In the morning they offer either like a hot tea or a hot mug of like a very mead-like ale that's not really sweet.
But it gets the job done.
Yeah, it's very thick with the honey taste, so the kind of sweet that you have is not the kind of sweet you would taste like in an arbor wine. So yeah, that's kind of what you. Those are your choices you have this morning.
She'd probably like take a bit of the jerky, put it in her bag or wherever, she can put it. Get the bread, dip it in some of the, I'm just gonna call it gruel. Dip it in the gruel and then, go on to where she needs to be.
All right. Well, today is a day where your post is sort of nondescript as you look at the duty roster that's put up. There's guard post days where your name will be sort of written under post. There's patrol days where you're actually spending your time outside the walls. And then there's just days where you're on the duty roster, which is really meant more as like a loose patrol, where you're not specifically meant to follow any route. These patrols are meant more or less just to kind of keep the guard schedule sort of shifting, because you do get a lot of passers through and a lot of commerce that comes through here. And while your town is not necessarily a hub of commerce, it is passed through quite heavily, and you have a number of inns and taverns and whatnot that sort of act as a way station. So of course you have travelers and outsiders and whatnot that can be sometimes a little bit boisterous. Some of them get up to no good. There's kind of a good mix there.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Macha in a town rather than like out on front lines? Is there like not a war right now, or?
Currently, the political situation is there aren't any major wars going on right now.
So like they
any
wouldn't
major
need
conflicts.
infantry.
Yeah, well, like you guys are fully capable of forming infantry ranks if called upon by the major lords. From what your town sort of is in a district of.
Mm-hmm.
Your particular king is oh no, it's a queen.
Even better.
It is Queen Wintergast. She is the last surviving member of a family of humans that were loosely related to the High King and Queens of Tyndall, which is the centermost kingdom of Inthate.
Mm-hmm.
She's older, probably somewhere in her late 40s. She hasn't produced an heir, and she's come under some scrutiny in like the last 2 decades, a little bit maybe before your time, or at least not at a time where you really focused on the political machinations of the world at large. She has actually married or taken a consort, and this consort has actually been a male orc, and it's only been within like the last 7 years that the high mountain orc clans, which they kind of diverge from orcish society in general. They're a lot more warlike, so they've been sort of that very stereotypical orc. It's only been recently that they've been kind of forced into submission, so to speak, or at least forced to adopt a more amenable method of coexisting. So they don't raid your town so much anymore, but the memories are still fresh. Her taking this orc as her consort has certainly embittered people within your kingdom to her, which is why this town in particular flies its own colors and not the colors of the Lord House or the ladies, the Queen's colors.
Oh shit!
You got a little scandal going on up there in the north, and doesn't necessarily reflect poorly on you per se as an individual. But yeah, there's no wars right now, so you guys are kind of just a standing military that has been relegated to a position that's probably a bit below you.
Yeah, probably.
So it's really up to you how Macha feels.
Yeah, no, she's not really, she's probably not really happy with being just, a fucking normal guard. She's like, I am made for battle. I'm not made to end bar brawls and patrol streets. But she
Well,
keeps
as
quiet because she follows her orders.
that's a good soldier.
Mhm.
Let's go ahead and since you're out here for the day, let's go ahead and let me get this scene set up because I'm a dirty heathen.
Did you forget to do it in Discord?
Yeah, I did.
Eat.
Start 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Go ahead and roll me a perception test
Okay.
as you start your sort of your wandering patrol.
So it is 4d6?
3d6 plus your
3d6.
perception. It's always 3d6, but add your perception modifier.
Okay, so 3d6 plus 4.
Yeah.
3d6 plus 4. That is a 19.
That is a 19. Okay, so you start off the day and you kind of get this really good. You get this really good sort of lay of the land as you come out, and as you do, you kind of see that there's a number of traders coming through. It looks like today is. It looks like today is kind of a day where it looks like there's a lot of produce going through. So a lot of vegetables from the southern lands, a lot of wheat, a lot of grains, and there's actually a pretty good queue going all the way up that mountain pass to the dwarven gates that actually take you into the true Northlands, the really harsh environments. Aside from that, you see, colors representative of a number of sellsword bands. But for the most part, you don't see anything that really looks out of the ordinary.
I'm probably still gonna keep my eye on the sellswords, because traders, generally, as far as I know, they won't cause trouble because they're here for business.
Yep.
Sellswords, their their business is trouble. So,
well, actually, if you want, you can roll. Go ahead and roll me a. If you have intelligence, military lore.
I think I do.
Yeah. So then you'll get your intelligence bonus, your intelligence modifier plus your focus bonus,
2.
which is always a +2. Yeah.
Okay. So I have a +2 since I'm not very intelligent. But that's okay, because I'm not supposed to be. 12. Not as good.
With a 12, it's not the greatest roll. However, you've seen these banners before. These sellswords are not known as a problem group. Every now and then they get into a bar brawl or a tavern brawl, but they're usually pretty good the morning after, especially if they've been locked up. As soon as they sober up, they're usually pretty quick to apologize, and they always front the bill for any damaged property. So, generally speaking, they're a little bit they're tolerated when they kind of put up for shenanigans.
Okay.
Today's banners that you see are the Encrusted Stags.
The Encrusted Stags. That's a lovely name.
Their banner is pretty much a stag facing you down with really mean eyes, but they have like these icicles coming off of the horns of the stag itself.
So I'm guessing they're from the North Lake. They're local sellswords.
They're locals. The other ones that you see are the Horned Ursines, which is actually just pretty much a family going under a sellsword named the Hornbergs. They're a mix of Ursine, Chinyama, and humans. There's a lot of crossbreeding in between those two. So you see a lot of people that have these they're all really large-bodied. The males tend to have like these pot bellies, really thick, burly arms. They have a lot of body fat on them, but they still look really imposing, and they don't look like they're obese. They just have they're stout, but they're really tall. The women tend to be
So they're literal
full-figured.
bears, like from
Yeah.
like gay bears.
A little bit, in a way, yeah. But I
They're
mean,
stereotypes.
they also have Ursine features as well,
Okay.
because of their mixed heritage. Some of them are just straight out Chinyama, so they have that some of those human features, but it's still very feral looking. They might have full bodies of fur or just patches of fur, while the humans are either just kind of stout and hairy. The women don't even bother to really do much to discourage growth of hair on their limbs or extremities. A couple of them actually wear like battle skirts, and you can see pretty much all the way the gap between their knees of their skirts and their boots. They're pretty shaggy. And they have really thick, unkempt hair, and by just looking at them, you're kind of you're an up in someone's face fighter, but quite literally that as strong as they look, if they were to get a hold of you, probably a good chance that it would be a really nasty fight, and you're not so sure that they might not break you in half.
And that, kids, is why you use your fucking shield or your fucking spears.
But they're usually pretty good-natured. It takes a lot to get them rolling, but once they get rolling, it requires probably like a full squad to really kind of subdue like one.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to mess with them.
Yeah. Other than that, you do see one foreign banner.
Okay.
One you're not necessarily all that familiar with. You've only heard by reputation. And these are the Gilded Vipers.
Oh, that does not sound like a good group.
They have a reputation for being pretty nasty. They definitely, like, Northerners don't tend to like Southerners so much, and they're definitely on the lower end of what Northerners are willing to tolerate. If they're up here because someone has offered them a very good amount of coin. But they're known for using very dirty tactics.
And those are the people I'm gonna keep an eye out for.
Yeah. They're currently sitting outside of a tavern. A tavern that you know as the Leaky Keg.
Gotta love the Leaky Keg.
Mm-hmm. And the Leaky Keg, it's like the big tavern on campus, so to speak. But they're sitting outside. There's like a canvas awning that's put out, and there's kind of like this wet sleet going on, which is kind of just a constant thing here. This is summer weather for you.
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah. So yeah, they're sitting under it, and they seem to be having a good time. They're having breakfast and whatnot, and you can see that they've actually taken the time to throw out their own linens as tablecloths, and they have their own chairs that they pulled out of their caravels and whatnot, and they have their own cooks, which are cooking just the smells that are wafting towards you. They're not familiar, but they smell really good. They're really heavily spiced, and that's not something you normally get here. That would be like a treat.
So they're bougie fucks.
A little bit bougie, yeah.
Good to know. But bougie also means that they might be a bit full of themselves and a bit quicker to fight.
Perhaps. You're not really sure. So where do you want to go now that you've kind of gone down the main road?
Would it be too much to like go on a roof or something?
Go ahead and make
a
me
bird's eye view.
Yeah, give me a strength climbing.
Strength climbing. Did I take climbing? No, I took jumping.
If you want to jump it, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
You might garner a little bit of attention, so if you just jump.
Well,
So if
I
you're trying to
mean,
do this,
I'm not
it's
trying to
up to
be
you.
silly.
Okay, yeah, then go ahead and roll your
Then they
strength jump.
know that I'm here and I'm guarding and you won't fuck with me.
The bird lady's on top of the ropes again.
It's my natural habitat. Thank you very much. So +4 because it's a +2 and then another +2.
Yep.
Okay. 9.
You jump. We'll say that you're kind of going for that house over there that's like next to the ruined one a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of on the left side there, and you jump. And you kind of get up there, and then you just start to slide down as you realize, man, this sleet has frozen over a little bit.
Oh, fuck.
And basically what your hands come away with are like these sleeves of ice, basically. And you're like, huh.
Well, that sucks. I'll just...
If you want to try again, you can certainly give it another go. Okay.
Nah, fuck that shit. I'm just gonna kind of go through the seedy, like, back alleys.
Okay.
See if any troubles brew in there, because I don't want any trouble to brew, but at the same time, I do.
Okay, well, go ahead and roll me a perception check, please.
Okay, another +5. Man, we're not rolling well now. I got one good roll and then. Whew.
It comes and goes in waves for here.
It
So you go into one of the seedy back alleys. It's sort of like away from like the more well-kept areas. Like, you know, the road itself is a stone road and it actually goes up and winds. And the areas that kind of sit in the shadow of the raised road are just kind of more neglected. Like there's not even like pebbles thrown down or gravel thrown down or any kind of slate that's thrown down to make the ground more walkable.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the slush and mud and whatnot. Like, you know, the snow and sleet that piles up there always turns brown and whatnot. And like when you're walking into it, a lot of times there's that sound as you walk.
Mm-hmm.
And in between the buildings, you know, it's mixed with what people are just literally just throwing out of their chamber pots right out the window.
Good thing I'm wearing boots.
Yeah. So it's not a pleasant seedy area, but with an 11, I'm going to say that you you see some individuals back here, which you don't normally see people back here. You see an Elvari woman.
Mm-hmm.
And you know her as Alice, actually. Her name is Alice Lorley.
Lorley.
And I'll bring up her picture real quick. Hey, just give me a second here. Where are you, Alice? Why are you hiding from me, Alice? Okay. So yeah, that's Alice.
Okay.
And she's currently sort of stuck in between a group of people you've never seen before. There's 5 individuals. I want you to go ahead and make me a intelligence cultural lore if you have it.
I do not have cultural lore, so that's going to be 3d6 straight up.
Alright.
Oh, that's a 10.
And you got 4 stunt points, but you're still kind of low. Whatever these beings are, they look kind of like elves. But not like any elves you've ever seen. Or that you can really bring into mind. Their complexions are like this pale swath between indigo, pure white, and like blue. And their hair is darker in color. Some of it's like just pure white. But you see they all sort of glow in a sense. You can see like hints of glowing from their backs and within their eyes. And they seem to have this Elvari girl sort of cowed as they're sort of surrounding her. You see these two individuals and these two individuals sort of standing around her.
I'm gonna kind of just whistle. Just a little, kind of, one of those low, long whistles.
Mm-hmm.
Hello there. I don't recognize you lot. Is there any trouble with you and the lady here?
They sort of look at each other, between each other, and then they look back at you. And they start speaking in a language you've never heard. What are your languages, by the way?
Mine are necrotic and common.
Okay. So yeah, nothing you've ever heard before. Go ahead and make me a perception test.
Okay.
Let's say this is going to be a 13.
Okay. Ice gods don't fuck me over now. They're gonna do it, aren't they? Oh, 16, there we go.
They're not. Okay.
Thank you, dice gods.
So give me just a second here. This is taking a little bit longer to load up.
That's okay. Question, is the one with the blue hair that is not obviously Widowmaker, is that a dude? Is that a lady?
That's a lady.
Okay.
They all appear to be ladies.
Okay.
I don't know why this particular song is not loading up.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a bad song. It's gonna be like a fight song.
Not really a fight song yet.
Well, you know, like an eerie song.
Yeah. So yeah, you get the sense, or you hear sort of like a in the ground behind you, and you see a fifth. And she's sort of she's standing there behind you, and she has sort of her hand on the hilt of something that you can't quite. I'll let you make a military lore roll.
Okay. Let me just make sure my military lore, yeah. So, that's a +2. Flash R, 3d6 plus. Is a 12.
With 4 stun points.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go to the tail of the tape, because that was a success. So let's go.
Always forget about the stun points.
It's alright. I haven't played this game in probably over a year, if not more.
True.
Alright, so exploration stuff points. You can do you can have the upper hand, which is 4 stunt points. If your discoveries lead to a combat within the moment or 2 you receive, you gain a +3 bonus. Excuse me. On your initiative roll.
So I can either get advantage or +3 to initiative?
A +3 to initiative, or you could do. I'm looking at them right here. You could do advantageous positioning if you feel like it's going in that direction. But none of them really, not too many of them really apply to this.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do advantageous positioning.
Okay, so you kind of sway yourself off a little bit, but what you see,
okay,
what you see wrapped around her waist. It's sort of like a leather wrapping, but it looks like it would easily open with just the slightest of tugs. The hilt itself looks pretty gnarly. It looks like it's made out of an like a really dark metal. And it's got all of like these little chains hanging off of it that are just as dark, with little hooks on them. But they look like they're for adornment. But what you recognize in that weapon is this is a weapon called a nightmare whip.
Oh, fun.
And a nightmare whip is the very signature weapon, the trademark weapon of the Shivan, the underground dwelling feral or feral elves, as they're sometimes known.
Is there anything that like guards say to alert each other of trouble, other than like the obvious thing? Is this a 2319?
Really, you would just kind of you could just call out if you felt like that this was getting ready to turn into a fight. You're not 100% sure yet if it is going to be a fight or not.
Okay. Do you need some help too, miss?
We were just talking with a friend over there. Don't really know why a town's guard needs to be butting in.
Well, I was simply on my patrol, and I'm not that good at reading body language, but what I can read, I sensed a bit of discomfort in your friend.
And the other four ladies, they kind of like chuckle to themselves and speaking in their own language, and then one of them will pipe up the say the one with the blue, really blue hair and blue hair, blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
She'll put a hand on Alice's shoulder and it's like, "Oh, we're just all good friends here."
Well, that's a surprise to me, since I've known Alice for quite a while, and I've never seen you here before.
Just arrived last night. And she'll give you a very toothy grin. And when she flashes you that grin, you notice that she has literally 4 incisors on the upper deck of her teeth and the lower deck of her teeth, which are much sharper than what like any other omnivorous race would have. That toothy grin is very very feral in nature.
Well, it's probably best that you don't be, having a chat in this area, unless you like getting chamber pots pouring all over you.
Go ahead and make me a persuasion check. So go ahead and do your communication.
It's my communication. It is a 2.
And a 2? Okay. What kind of, you got any focuses in communication?
I have gambling, but I doubt that's going to apply.
No. Unless you want to break out a deck of cards here.
No, but that's a 15.
With 6 fucking stunt points.
With 6 fucking stunt points, that's it.
You'll actually see them at the mention of chamber pots. They'll all look around. She makes a good point. Maybe we should take our friend Alice over to the tavern, have a bit of a chat with her there. Been so long since we've had a chance to catch up with her, isn't it? And she'll pat Alice on the shoulder, and Alice just kind of goes, yeah, it's been a really long time.
Why don't I escort you? We have some new people in town, not y'all, of course, but we have a few sellsword groups in town that can get a bit rowdy. Some southerners, one of their sellsword groups, wouldn't want y'all getting in trouble now, would we?
They seem to take it under advisement. And you guys will make your way to the tavern. Oh,
and joy. Is there a way I can kind of get close to Alice while we're walking? kind of taken up the rear behind her.
They have her pretty well flanked. You would have to literally kind of interpose yourself between them.
I'll actually do that. I'll like kind of put my arm around Alice since I'm guessing I know her somewhat decently.
The things you know about Alice is Alice lives in a hut, kind of actually at the base of the mountain where your roost is. She's really
Okay.
secretive. She's not very. She's not really someone who. She's very much on the shy side and extremely reserved.
So I wouldn't know much about her.
You know that she is kind of a druidic magi to some degree. You know that she communes with nature a lot, and you know the couple of times that you've traveled the road, when you see her hut, you know she kind of keeps it away from everyone. You know, when you look at it from a distance, it's always very adorned with like nature type idols and things like that.
Okay.
So you don't know much about her. She could have people from she knows from outside. You've just never known her to travel, and you've never seen her have visitors. But that's not to say that she has never had them. It's just in your experiences, you've never seen them.
Yeah, so I'm still gonna like kind of go over so that I can put my arm around her and be like, "So, Alice, you never told me about your friends."
Yeah. We go a bit back. They helped me procure some tomes back when I was still learning at the Magi College in Coramel.
Oh, that must be how you met. I was about to ask that too.
Yeah.
You
And as you guys
are
walk down
such a bookworm.
yeah, as you guys make your way, as the as the seven of you make your way into the leaky keg. Leaky keg actually sits a bit down into the ground for just the sake of using topography to help keep the place warm. You know, you hear the lute of a local minstrel playing. And it's still kind of early in the day, so you either have the really, really, really late drinkers, or just the people that kind of tend to day drink. Not that you need to judge or anything.
Oh, she doesn't. Although Alice will probably notice that this is more talking that she's probably, or more talking than she can't talk, than she's heard come from Macha before, and like in a much kind of lighter tone than she usually speaks.
Mm-hmm. She'll just kind of look over at you, and she never really looks you in the eye. She always keeps her eyes down towards the ground. I'm fine. I'm fine. You don't need to fret over me.
Oh, I'm not fretting. I'm just doing my job as a local guard.
Right. And as she kind of steps away from you, the five Sheevan will sort of encircle her again and lead her over to a table where they'll sit down and they'll begin to have a little bit of a chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of let them be, but I'm gonna go over to the innkeeper, bar owner, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Keep an eye on them, and if there's any trouble, call me.
No trouble in here. Like trouble in my establishment. You know this guy's name is Gled or Gleb. Kind kind of a silly name that was a nickname that kind of stuck, and nobody's ever really bothered to try and remember what his actual name is. So he's just like, no trouble in here, not this early in the day. He'll kind of pull out a pocket watch and kind of flip it open.
Yeah, she's gonna just kind of nod at the group of strangely colored newcomers.
And he'll take a pair of spectacles out from his apron and put it on. He'll look. Shavings. Why are you doing this far north?
Don't know. Don't care. As long as they don't cause any trouble.
And it's about that time that you're gonna hear. Let me find it here. And that's when you start to hear a commotion. Not from the achievement table, actually. You notice that a number of they look like local workers, probably miners. They seem to have taken offense to something that's gone on, and now you hear the crashing of and grunting of various individuals as they are just literally going to town with each other.
How many are there?
There's about 4 of them.
Okay, so I'm gonna take 2 of them.
Well, first off, let's go ahead and roll initiative.
Okay, I forgot how to do that.
Okay, so rolling initiative is 3d6.
Yep.
Plus your initiative, or plus your dex, and if you have an initiative focus, you get to use that.
Okay, dex is +1. Oh, I forgot I have a specialty in flying. Oof.
Oh wow, these guys are pretty cantankerous at the moment. Of course they are. But that's okay, because you're cantankerous too.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're very much focused on, the 4 of them are focused with each other. You know, you hear Gleb, he's just like, Hey! Mama! Hey, too early for this shit! And he'll look at you. Well, that lady, what are you gonna do about it?
She doesn't even say anything. She goes out. She's gonna start walking over towards them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're right in the midst of it. The barmaid, she has like, she looks like she's seen this all before. She is still serving drinks to the other tables without missing a beat.
I'm so proud of her.
So, so yeah, it's what are you gonna do? There's 4 of them, and they're currently embroiled in battle with each other.
Okay, so what's the layout? Are they like just punching around some tables, or like did they move shit out of the way and they're hitting each other with bottles and shit?
There's 2 tables that have been flipped.
Would
and
it be
they've made it.
To, like, take 2 of their heads and smash them together?
You know what? If you want to do that, give me. It's gonna be difficult.
Okay.
But give me a strength test, and I want you to get a 17.
17.
Because you're trying to take 2 of them together and kind of coconut their heads together.
Yeah, the ones that are closest to each other.
Yeah.
Is there anything I can spend to make this work? I forget. Can I
no.
spend fate? Oh, this isn't fate. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Big money, no whammies! Yes!
Hot damn.
17, bitch.
Okay, so yeah, 2 of them, you just, you knock their heads together, and one of them kind of falls over backwards. And, and he hits the ground, and he's like holding his head like, ah! The other guy kind of stumbles, and, you know, he falls into a table, and you just hear just plates start crashing all over the place. And it's about
a little bit.
And it's about that time that you know, as the guy that you kind of like, not as he fell over into like a plate or a table full of dishes, he gets up and he stumbles, and he goes right into the band, or where the minstrel and his party are playing, and suddenly they stand up and they're like, "Oi!" And now they really start kicking up their music as other people start joining into the melee. So what do you want to do next?
I'm gonna take one of the guys that is that's still up that I didn't hit before, and I'm just gonna kind of take him by like the scruff of the shirt and just punch him.
All right, so that is going to be an accuracy brawling.
Accuracy.
If you have that.
That's accuracy?
Believe it or not, yeah, using your fist is accuracy. Why it's not fighting, I don't know.
Okay, let's see. 9.
9. Let me just double check with the sheet. I'm pretty sure that's a fail.
Although he is drunk.
He is drunk. But even with a -2 for being drunk, that's still not enough to hit him. But he is going to, once you kind of take a swing at him, he'll look you up and down. This is a guy you've known probably for at least a couple of years, and he just he smirks at you as he's like got like a bloody nose and a tooth missing. He's like, "Oh, I've been waiting to actually test my meat against you, lady." And he says it in a very jovial way, like it's just daily life, and he's not actually like looking to fuck your shit up. He's caught up in the moment. So he's like up a 2. Okay. Is 11 hit?
No.
So yeah, he swings and he goes wide, and he'll kind of stumble, and he'll step on the guy that fell and still hasn't gotten up. So he screams as he gets stepped on, and he's just like, "Ah, why? Ow!"
Can I? Since we're not really doing this, whatever. Would headbutting be fighting? Like, what's headbutting?
Pretty much any unarmed strike is actually specifically.
I don't want to actually kill these guys, so I'm gonna.
Well, you got it. What kind of weapons do you have rolling with you right now?
I got 2. You gave me a battle axe and a throwing axe.
Okay. So if you just want to use if you want to flip your axe around, and
hit
use
him
it
with
like
the
half.
camel?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to do that,
Okay.
you can pummel with that.
Okay, so I'm gonna just take my throwing axe and my battle axe. Battle axe, how big is that?
Battle axe is kind of like a double-sided axe, so you can use it that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my throwing axe and just gonna smack him upside the head with the fucking haft.
Okay, so use your fighting, but take 2 out of your fighting modifier just because you're using it in a very unorthodox kind of way.
13.
I do believe that's a hit.
Yep. How do I do damage? What is that?
Alright. So it's your weapon damage.
Oh yeah, 3d6 plus 5. Or no, that's the attack roll. Oh yeah, because
your damage is going to be
1d6
usually
plus 2.
Yeah, plus
1d6 plus 2.
Yeah. What's your strength rating?
Strength is a plus 2.
Okay, so yeah, then it's your yeah. Go ahead and roll that.
4.
Okay. So you do 4. So yeah, you hit him in the face and you kind of put a nice little you kind of get this you smack him right in the nose, and it kind of cracks open.
Today's just not your day, boy.
And about that time is when a few more of the guards start pushing into the door. and everything kind of... There's the sound of the fight winding down. And as, three of the guards, your fellow guards rush in, they kind of come in pretty quick, and, Wilhelm, as he's kind of getting up, he puts his stepped-on hand back on the ground, and those three guards, each one of them, just kind of trounce over it. So he lets out another scream, and they start grabbing people up, and they're like, all right, that's enough of this here, come on. And they start, taking their gauntlets and cracking people upside the head and grabbing people by, beards or scruff.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they need to do to start getting them sort of corralled and whatnot.
I'll take the dude who I just broke the nose of.
Mm-hmm.
And, kind of do the same stuff with him.
Mm-hmm. And, as people are still kind of making a bit of a ruckus, there are other people that are starting to get up into little secondary fights, and you hear Gleb.
If you're gonna do that, take it outside.
And, he starts also helping shove people out.
How are the newcomers looking?
They seem amused.
Okay.
But they didn't even really bat an eyelash. They sat there through the whole thing. So that your day is pretty much consisted. You grab these guys up, and you're gonna take them up to the local jailhouse, and they're going immediately into the drunk tank because they didn't injure anyone, and their fight was pretty contained. They're just gonna have to pay for tavern brawling.
Mm-hmm.
Your township has a pretty good handle on fees for that, and your day pretty much goes on really there's not a whole lot of change that happens throughout the day. It goes on pretty uneventful from that point on. You notice that Alice, towards the mid-afternoon, is making her way up back towards her hut alone.
Okay.
And the Shivans seem to have gone and taken residence at one of the mid-tier inns. So yeah, it's it's kind of one of those your boys will be boys kind of deals. People just kind of being people.
Mm-hmm.
So, just kind of the day starts to progress. You're kind of walking through the city, and it's just kind of pretty calm after that, all the way up to the end of your shift. What would you like to do?
I did get a decent workout, but I'm still gonna kind of do one last run, around the perimeter of the town before I go, eat, rest, do stuff.
Okay, go ahead and roll me your perception while you're out running.
Okay. It is an 11.
An 11 with 2 stone points. It's sleety and it's cold.
As expected.
As expected. Nothing out of the ordinary. But as your day winds down, you do notice that up on a small hill, surrounded by a few trees, you do notice that the smoke coming up from the chimney of somebody you know fairly well and are fairly fond of.
Oh no, who could that be?
I don't know.
I'm just gonna kind of change my direction over towards that house instead of just the perimeter.
Alright. Well, as you come up, of course, this is a house that you do not have to knock to enter into. And yeah, what you see is a fairly copper-skinned elf, a copper-skinned Elvari gentleman, and he is currently sort of stoking up a fire.
I'm gonna kind of sneak up behind him and just get a little bit of that booty. Just a good
And
handful.
He'll just kind of chuckle to himself. You know, I should try and dissuade you from that because, and as you do that, you feel a familiar hand kind of slap you on the back. And as you turn around, you see Killian's sister, Kira. And she has her arms crossed. Well, little bird girl, do you have any shame whatsoever?
Not when it comes to your brother, my dear.
And she'll reach in for a hug.
Yeah, she gives her a big old hug.
Yeah.
A hug
Now,
that she only reserves for this fucking family.
Yeah. Some things you know about Kira. Well, Killian is a very home-based town's guard, or a soldier of this local garrison. Kira is a traveler. She's kind of a minstrel, but she's more of a scribe. She has a beautiful singing voice, and she can play the shit out of a viola.
Nice.
But she actually travels, doing freelance sort of work.
And to be fair, I wasn't
it's-
expecting you to be home.
Well, I happen to be coming through Northport, and I decided to take up with one of the merchants coming through, heading up to the Dwarven Kingdoms. So here I am. And she'll smirk, and she'll look you over. You look thin.
But can I say they don't feed me enough?
Are you just not eating enough?
Who has time to eat?
Well, considering most people join an army to make sure they have 3 hots and a cot, she'll kind of give you a very stern look.
What can I say? I'm not like the other soldiers.
Yeah, you're definitely not. And that's when you feel a pretty firm just right to for kind of a turnabout is fair play. As he walks by, going to grab a few ingredients from his very small larder.
She's gonna look at Kira, and you say, I have no shame.
And she just kind of she chuckles. And she just kind of shrugs a bit. It's like, well, I expect that out of him. I thought you had some more decorum than that.
I will repeat. I didn't expect you to be here.
I'm not staying anyway. I'm going down to our parents' longhouse. I'm gonna go see my nephew. Just kind of smirks.
Make sure to annoy him as much as you can. Be the best aunt ever. And make sure he's eating enough. Because that boy was skin and bones when I left him.
Yes. It's kind of a trademark of your people, though, isn't it?
It comes with the territory.
And she sort of looks out the window. She can hear one of the bards and the minstrels sort of setting up shop not too far outside the hut. think I'm going to leave you to it with that. And she'll give you kind of a pat on the shoulder, and then she'll give her brother a hug before making her way out.
You know, they made a big mistake when they signed us to the same town.
Well, I know the captain. She's been looking to find a better garrison for me. Looks like she wants to keep you in town. I haven't the faintest why, but she wants to keep you in town.
Because I'm just that good of a soldier.
Glorified town's guard these days. I think she wants to put me out at an outpost. Which means days of sitting around and freezing with very little good to eat, and even worse when it comes to company.
Oh, boo-hoo.
So glad you care so much about me. And he'll walk up to you and embrace you in a hug.
You know, if you don't like the company as much, I could let you go cold tonight.
And he'll take a, sort of brush the back of his fingers along your cheek, and he'll say, "You're kind of cold as it is."
That's not what you said the other night.
He'll throw up his hands. You're right, you're right. I don't think I'll be staying very long tonight, though, unfortunately. Some of the men from my unit, we want to go out for a bit of nighttime target practice.
I see how it is. And she kind of gives him like a smirk.
He'll just kind of let out a sigh. There's been some reports coming in. Bandits making night raids on caravans. Until we get orders otherwise from the captain, we're probably going to be garrisoning ourselves along the Merchant's Road. And we want to make sure that we're hitting bandits and not panicking merchants.
You sure you don't want some company with that? And she kind of like bumps her hip up so that like the shaft of one of her axes kind of bounces.
He'll look down at the axe and look up at you, and he'll kind of bite his lip a little bit. It's a really, really tempting offer, but I think this is going to be a ranger affair. At least tonight. You know how the lieutenant gets.
The lieutenant can kiss my arse.
I wouldn't put it past him. I don't know if you've heard what he's been up to at the local brothels as of late, but a man spends as much coin as he gets.
Well, then it's a good thing I'm only yours.
He'll smirk. And he'll smirk at that, and he'll look back at the alcove, which pretty much serves as a bed, and he'll kind of raise his brow. Can throw a few things into the pot and just make a stew. It takes a little while to cook. About an hour. I don't know what we do with the other 57 minutes, but
We can think of something. And she just starts walking towards it, and like boots come off, axes go on the ground. By the time she actually gets to the bed, she's probably already naked.
And yeah, you have your way with your baby daddy. And as you're done, within the hour or so, it takes to make the actual stew. I'm sure you two have a number of romps before he serves you up a pretty hearty stew with some good, if not a little bit stale bread. But once you put it into the stew, it softens right up, and before too long, he actually gears up, putting on his leathers, and picking up his quiver and his longbow, and as he goes to leave, he'll place a very tender kiss on you before heading out the door.
And she probably, while he was gearing up, she probably put her gear back on, and as he walks out, she'll stay by the fire for just a little extra minute longer, and then go back to the barracks.
And when you get back to the barracks, it's pretty much business as usual. It's the various guards getting themselves ready for bed, and those that are rising up are coughing, and they have their chamber pots next to their bed, so they're kind of snorting into them, trying to clear out all the gunk and whatnot. But as a few of your fellow soldiers walk by, as they're sort of peeling out of their armor, these were the two that you saw at the inn earlier today. They're kind of pulling buckles off, and the older man will kind of stop and say, "Macha."
Aye?
So, don't know if you're feeling a bit tight or whatnot, but we've got a little bit of access time to the hot springs. Always good for a soldier to loosen up, isn't it?
She just kind of shrugs at him.
It's an open invitation. There's going to be quite a few of us in there. Seeing as you're kind of usually on the fringes, maybe get you involved.
And what do I get out of it?
The company of your fellow man? I don't know.
She'll look at the, is the lady there as well?
Yeah, she's currently undoing buckles and throwing her armor onto her bunk.
She's gonna kind of look at her for her opinion.
She shrugs. One of the few times I can say that one of the men are not trying to hit you up to get a look at, and she'll kind of gesture broadly.
Let's just see what this fate die has to say.
Okay.
Really?
I forget how you roll fate dice in this.
1d.
Just, there it goes.
I'll do it. Might as well.
How about heads or tail? Okay, alright. So, you decide to make your way in there, and as you get in, you'll notice that, like you said, there's a number of people in there, of diverse species. You see, 2 Elvari, you see the only Rakshasa that serves anywhere within 100 leagues of this town. He's there, but he's keeping mostly to himself, sitting over smoking from a water pipe with just a towel wrapped around him. And the rest are all human, or let's see, 2, 3. 2 more are human, and there's 1 dwarf. And as you walk in, the Rakshasa kind of looks at you, and he seems to be deciding whether or not you're gonna start some shit. He's got that look like. He's a garrison troop, So he doesn't really come into the town often. When he does, it's usually with his unit, which is probably why Killian's back.
Mm.
So he's he is understandably not usually around, and he usually keeps his distance from you. So to see you kind of coming in, he's just like, oh.
He's like, what's going on now?
It's like, ha 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 ha. That's the kind of look he has on his face, like, well, of course.
My luck tonight.
Mm-hmm. But he doesn't look like he wants to, doesn't look like he's at all looking to start anything.
Yeah. She's probably gonna look around a little bit awkwardly, like, not completely sure of what to do. But since everyone's naked, she starts stripping.
Okay. So do you slip in the water?
Yeah, after like neatly putting her things like in folding them and putting them in a corner. Axes included.
Alright. Well, you slip into that water and it's nice and piping hot. It feels good. And normally the hot springs are closed off.
Mm-hmm.
The powers that be try to keep those more as a privilege than necessarily a right, because they want to have something that they can withhold to really kind of motivate the troops.
Mm-hmm.
Not for like any shitty purpose. It's just kind of a morale thing.
Yeah.
But as you're sitting there, you just feel suddenly like the water level rise by about 1.5 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And what you see is first the bare ass of a very pale and pasty and hairy individual. It's one of the Ursine boys, who's actually one of the local town soldiers. And he's got scars all up and down his chest, and as he kind of relaxes into the water and he spreads out, like he literally shoves about 4 people out of the way, not like maliciously, it's just by the virtue of his actual size.
Yeah, when his ass is literally in her face, she does one of those like kind of long blinks, like, I just saw that. I didn't want to see that, but I saw that.
And as he settles in, he'll dip his head underneath the water, and he'll come back up, and he'll kind of shake his head out. Kind of when he makes that, it kind of sounds a bit like a bear. And he'll immediately kind of, as you're the palest one there, and that's saying something this far north, he'll kind of look you over. Megan, right?
No.
No? Oh, not so good with the names. I know it starts with an M.
That's right.
Just can't. Morgan?
No, that would just be too on the nose.
Melissa?
Macha.
Macha. I'm Boris. And he'll kind of reach a hand over.
She'll take it.
And he shakes it. And I'd like you to roll a Constitution, say, test 13. To not wince.
Okay.
Because he's got a grip.
22 bit. That's triple sixes.
So when he squeezes your hand, of course you repay it in kind, because it's kind of a soldier's bravado, right?
Yeah, of course.
When you squeeze back, his eyes go a little bit wide, and he's just like, "Whoa, whoa! I didn't expect Oh, you're so small, but you got a grip like a damn tiger. Wow. Oh, and he kind of jerks his hand away and he shakes it out laughing. He's like, wow.
He just gets like the faintest smile.
Oh, yeah, all right.
And that will be remembered forever.
Not using that same mechanic, but it will definitely be remembered by Boris.
Good.
He will certainly remember that forever,
And
I'm
maybe
sure
the other people in the room.
Yeah, they all will. And he'll kind of reach out with a big, that big bear paw of a hand, and he'll just kind of like ruffle the top of your head. He's like, "Good on you, little lassie. Oh my God! If I didn't know that you were wed to one of my comrades, I'd say, what are you doing after this? But my God!" Sort of explains a little bit about Killian, though. Why he seems always so content and always so feeling secure. It's because he's got you watching his back.
Well, he did.
Oh. Get pulled away from some carnival visit time. Mm-hmm.
Last time I checked, that wasn't your business.
Just making compensation, that's all. Point taken, point taken. And he'll kind of put up both of his hands. So, tell me a bit about yourself, if you don't mind sharing with a big old lug like me.
I'm me. Is there more you need to know?
Well, I heard you had quite a reputation for a temper. I have one myself. Get out there on the battlefield and I start losing all sense of control, and then just enemies start falling all around me, and taking my great sword and cleaving them in half and just keep on going to the next, and before you know it, they're all running on scared, and I'm just like, "Get back here, you cowards, and you little shits," and before you know it, they're all just gone way too, because they're faster than I am, and just heard tell that you fight a bit like that. I'm a bit interested. I always like seeing individuals like myself.
Well, it kinda comes with the territory of being associated with death now, doesn't it?
Ah, that's true. You are a bit of a death bringer by nature.
And by nurture.
By nature, and he'll kind of scooch, and people quickly make room. It's kind of like watching like a school of fish avoid like a turtle.
Yeah.
Like minnows avoiding a turtle. They're just like to the other side of the pool. And he'll settle down beside you. When he puts his arms out on like the lip of the thing, he's clearly not doing it in a way to like, do the whole arm over thing. It's just literally to kind of support his massive frame.
Because he's a big boy.
He's a very big boy. So, is it true about what they say about your kind being you're all lady folk?
What do they say?
I heard that most people, when they talk about your birdie types, that it's all it isn't like some of my relatives. I'm pretty mixed in with the Chinyama and whatnot, and then I heard that you Morrigu types, you don't have any men among your ranks. I was like, how long could that be? They just keep showing up. I figured if they didn't have any men, they'd be gone by now. But you guys seem to be doing fairly well for yourselves, so I just kind of wanted to know, is that a true thing? Or is that just some of my mates just, fucking with me?
No, it's true.
So you all just,
Our girls breed true. And our sons do not.
Oh, okay. So you still go and find the bread batter somewhere else then?
Yes.
Oh, okay. It's a bit of an interesting way of doing things. Seems to have been working for you all, though. I mean, you've been around for longer than the Chinyama have, I believe.
She just kind of nods.
Hmm. And is it true your clan can turn into birds?
Out of character, can we turn into birds?
You can turn into a raven, yes.
Well, see me on the battlefield and you'll find out.
Oh, well, I mean, doesn't seem to go raging raven or whatnot. That'd be kind of interesting to see. I suppose I just
Well,
wouldn't
what
want to
can
see
you
it
do when a raven comes right at you? Talons first, and you ain't got nothing to protect your eyes.
I suppose I'd let out something along the lines of, "Oh God, me eyes!" And he'll chuckle. Something like that. I suppose that's what most people do.
Less talking, but generally screaming.
No, okay. I tend to be very expressive, very emotive. I'd say that's probably what I'd say if something tore out my eye. And he kind of points at the nice shiner he's got going. Someone almost kind of did that today. Another barroom brawl after yours, from what I hear. Got some of them she-devils from the underground. They started getting a little rowdy with each other.
With each other?
Oh, yeah, it got a little bit too much drink in them, and then they started throwing quips, and I was just about ready to go off duty, so I was enjoying sort of a end of the shift grog, and then I turn around and they're kind of yammering at each other, and then they're going back and forth, and me and some of the boys are watching, and then all of a sudden they flip the table and they start going at each other, and then there's just, they fight really fast, really agile, like jumping around and jumping off walls, throwing their feet and their hands, and
They use that wicked whip?
No, he didn't draw any steel, otherwise I don't think I'd look like this. I think I'd be a little bit cut up, and they'd probably be dead. But no, one of them, I went to kind of get in between them and start, pulling them apart, because, most of the time they're like, like, boys, get in there. Just kind of act as like a body block, and it kind of usually puts a fight right in a dead end, because you're going to get around all this. You're kind of a big, hefty fella.
She kind of just motions her head and her eyes to, go on.
So, one of them catch him by the thigh, because she was like up in midair when I grabbed her, and she brought that other knee around, got me right in the eye. And it hurt, I'm not going to lie, it hurt a lot. The other eye started to tear up a little bit because it stung, it really stung. She hit hard. But I still held her, kind of put her upside down, and I said, "Don't you do that anymore, that's really rude." That's about the time that the fight stopped, and I set her back down. She didn't seem too happy with me at the time, Kind of gave me the evil eye, and she gave me the evil eyes, and I gave her the evil eye. Hey, see what I did there? Because otherwise I was always kind of swallowing shut and all. I'm sorry, you get it, yeah?
He gets, the ghost of a smile again.
See, we're already becoming fast friends, huh? And, yeah, you know what? The evening kind of continues on like that. Once everyone's kind of had their good soak, and the officers come in and chase everyone out because it's officers' time in the hot springs. You notice that Boars, he gets his own bunk. He doesn't do the over-under deal. He has his own reinforced bed.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of needs it. But as you're walking by and he's sitting there, you notice that he has a book in hand, and he seems to be writing in it as you're walking by. And he's all kind of he's got his loose trousers on and just kind of a basic tunic. And all of his hair is kind of pulled back into like a like just a loose ponytail as you're walking by.
She might kind of stop for a bit and look over his shoulder.
And he'll look up at you and he'll kind of smile. Ish. And he'll kind of hold it up. It's just this leather-bound book. This is a chronicle of my life. When I was younger, they were like, boys, you fight really good, and you got so many stories to tell around a campfire. You should really write a book. So, naturally, I went out and I went to one of the local scribes. Taught me how to read and write a little bit better than I knew how to, and now I'm doing all this. And he'll hand you the book. And
I'll read it.
it's really well, like, you kind of, if you go just by appearances and demeanor, you'd probably take Boris for kind of an idiot. Or at least just kind of a simple-minded meathead, but the way he's writing, it's really articulate and extremely poetic.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the way that he told the story of the bar fight and the way that he's written it are two totally different things. It's captivating. It's a real page turner.
Am I in there?
No,
Damn it, he hasn't gotten to that part yet.
not yet. He stopped right about the point where he set the woman down, along the lines of, "And the she-devil, I set her down, and though there was a good deal of tension between the two of us, there seemed to be the mutual respect of two extremely skilled warriors, one of finesse and one of brute strength. I have to say, for my part, I had never been quite so impressed with someone so small."
And then there was me. I
Yeah, he hadn't got to that
ruined
part
it.
yet.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. And then he got even more impressed by a different small lady.
Mhm.
So she'll give him back his book and kind of pat him on the head and continue on her way back to her bunk.
All right. So as you bed down for the night, of course, it's as the fire's down to a low roar and people go to sleep, and you hear the normal snoring and coughing and whatnot, just kind of the low sounds of people sleeping. The night kind of passes, and dawn comes up, and today, instead of sausage, there's biscuits and gravy.
Biscuits and gravy it is, I guess.
Biscuits and gravy.
She does something very similar to last time. She, gets up, washes her face, and then gets some food and goes to check the roster.
Today it looks like you're on garrison duty up by the wall.
She shrugs and goes on her merry way.
As you make your way up, Knight Captain Natalia will sort of reach out and she'll grab you by the arm as you're making your way out of the barracks and kind of pull you aside. Macha?
Captain?
Bit of a report. I want to know what went on with those Shivan yesterday.
I found them surrounding Alice. Said they were her friends. So I escorted them out of a seedy alleyway back to the tavern where I told, out of character, what is his name? Not Boers. Damn it, I didn't take his name down. The tavern guy.
Oh, Bolg.
Bolg. Bolg and Boers.
Mm-hmm.
Where I told Bolg, to keep an eye on them. Then the fight broke out with, she lists the names of the people that she knew.
Mm-hmm.
Then I continued my patrol. Came back, went to the hot springs. Turns out Boers was on duty when they decided to make a mess in the leaky keg. And that's as much as I know. Oh, apparently no steel was drawn, though.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to watch for them on the wall, and if they leave, I want to know immediately. I want you to take flight and come back to me here at the garrison.
Will do.
Dismissed, soldier.
She does whatever salute thing they do at this place. And goes
Their
over
salute
to
is
her station.
their salute is pretty standard. It's just a fist over the heart.
Yeah, so she'll do that, wait for a response, and then go.
All right. So you make your way up to the up to the garrison wall, and pretty much you're just there acting as the guards for the customs officials who are taking down inventories and collecting taxes as you're going through. And go ahead and make me a perception test.
Mm-hmm. 14.
You notice probably about half a mile up the road and about 500 yards to the right of the road itself, you notice that there's a little bit of a commotion, or not really a commotion, but you notice some of the trees are moving. And the way you kind of pick that out is like you see that cloud of like fine like snow dust
Mm-hmm.
after they've been disturbed, and it's just kind of like lingering there.
Can I turn into a raven and fly over and just
Yeah.
kind of do a once-over to see what's going on?
Sure.
Okay.
Roll me another perception test, and let me just make sure that I get the. Because I think you get a little perception bonus there.
I get the same thing. Unless I get another bonus for being a bird.
Perception is increased by 2, so that would be a 16.
16!
Yeah, with a 16, there's something in those trees. Something furry, from what
Something
you can see.
furry.
Mm-hmm.
Big and furry?
Probably at least the size of a bear, if not maybe larger.
Can I do kind of a swoop down to get a better look? Just a quick one?
Sure. Go ahead and roll me your Go ahead and roll me your perception again.
Okay. So that's another +6, because I'm a bird. That's a 17.
You see a lot of snowy mist all of a sudden.
Where the bear should be?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the bear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm flying back to the fucking garrison and telling them about this shit. Because that is suspicious.
So your fellow guards are like, why don't the three of us go check it out then? Shields and swords this time. I don't think we'll need pikes if it's just a bear.
She just taps the axes on her side.
Of course, yeah. And
Actually, wait,
they'll begin.
I'm better with weapon and shield.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll pick up a shield if I didn't already have one. I think I did.
Yeah, you have a shield.
Yeah.
It should be on your sheet.
Yep. I have a 40 silver, the light shield, the sword, and then the axes.
Yeah. Yeah. So you make your way up, and
I don't have the stats for the sword, though.
standard longsword, I think, is what you had.
Mm-hmm.
And that is I'll give you an idea here in just a second of what that is. Your standard longsword is a heavy blade, and it does 2d6, plus whatever your strength modifier is.
2d6 plus 2. Yep. So the same as my battle axe.
Yeah.
So I'll probably use my battle axe more than the longsword. But...
Mm-hmm. So, as you make your way in, three of you kind of go off the road as the wagons are kind of going on past you, and you guys make your way into the forest. Go ahead and make me another perception test.
Okay. The 16?
All right, with a 16, roll me okay. Evens or odds?
Odds.
No. Sorry.
Damn.
Okay. So, you make your way in, and you get more hint of like this snowy mist. And that is when you're able to turn, because you met the perception prerequisite.
Mm-hmm.
However, you realize that you're cut off as a howling wind sort of erupts behind you. And this is what you see.
What fuck?
And yeah,
Roll
let's
initiative?
go ahead. Initiative.
Okay, and that was plus dex, right?
Yeah, 3d6 plus your dex.
Hit 9.
9.
9. Would I be able to shout? Like, do I know what this is?
You can. I'll let you roll a perception or an intelligence nature.
Oh, that's not gonna be a good roll. Nature. Do I have any nature? Intelligence? Fuck.
It'd be under intelligence, yeah.
Yeah, that's 12.
Might be a Yeti, maybe? Don't really hear about Yetis this far south. And if it's a Yeti, it's a really fucked up Yeti.
Yeah, she'll probably just say, "Is this a fucking Yeti?"
And you'll hear the sounds of your compatriots, as all of a sudden you hear more growls sort of echoing out. And this is not the right... yeah, here we go. This is what I wanted. There we go. So yeah. Makes a roar at you, and it's going to attack you.
Okay.
Because it's rude like that.
How rude. Wait, what did you roll for its initiative?
I did. It got a 15.
Oh, okay. I did not see
It outclassed you a little bit there because it got
but...
a really fucking lucky roll there.
Yeah, it did.
With a modifier of 1.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's going to go for a claw attack. Does a 16 hit?
It does.
Alright.
Time to pull out the fucking calculator.
What's your defense?
My defense is 13. With 3 armor.
What's your shield rating?
I don't know. I'm guessing
what kind of
that's
shield do you have?
a light shield.
A light shield. I don't think that's going to take you up enough to be able to... Well, let me just double check.
And I have leather armor.
Yeah. A light shield is a +1 bonus, so you should have a 14, I believe.
Okay. I'll just do that plus 1.
Yeah.
So 14 is my thing now.
Alright, so... are you also taking in your sword and shield specialty, or specialization?
Weapon and shield, journeyman?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. I'll make sure that you have every benefit that you're going to need.
Mm-hmm.
You're a journeyman?
Yes, in weapon and shield.
Okay. Get the full defense bonus from using a shield. Okay, yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Alright. So it is going to roll its 2d6 plus 4. It is 8 damage. How much does your armor do?
3.
So that's 5 damage. You take 5 damage as it swipes at you. And I need you to make me a Constitution check. Difficulty... no, that's the other thing. This is going to be a 13.
Okay. So Constitution. Does stamina have to do anything with it? I don't think so.
Yes. Stamina will apply here.
Oh, so that's a 6. That's a 15.
Okay, so when this thing slashes into you, you definitely feel... When its claws cut into you, you feel a chill seep through the wounds, and you feel like the skin sort of getting frostbitten. However, your natural fortitude sort of shrugs that off.
Okay.
But that's not a good thing that it can do that. That's a bad thing.
Disobeyed.
Yeah,
Very bad.
and it's your turn.
Okay, so I want to attack it.
Okay.
Also, can I rage? Is raging a thing? I would like to rage.
I believe you can. Let me go to the warrior specialization.
Which page is this?
You're a berserker, so that's actually in the book.
Yes.
So, as a berserker, what level berserker are you? I think you're just a level 1?
I'm a novice.
Yeah, novice berserker. You can drive yourself into a killing frenzy. First, you must use an activate action to become berserk. You gain a +2 on all willpower courage and willpower morale tests.
Mm-hmm.
You also gain a +1 on your damage rolls. However, you suffer a -1 penalty to defense and perception.
Is a +1 really going to help me that much?
It can. I mean, it could be the difference between, like, literally the one threshold is enough that, you know, if you roll just one under, but
I will...
that one to your, it's a trade-off, because it's also it's a hefty penalty.
Yeah.
To your defense. So it's up to you.
Not yet. I'll save it for when I'm getting dangerous.
Okay, so what you doing?
I'm going to attack it.
Alright, go ahead and roll.
Okay. With my battle axe. 3d6 plus 5. It is a 16.
Jesus Christ, that hits, and you have 3 stunt points.
Hey. Okay, that's 2d6 plus 2.
So with your 3 stunt points, you could do Mighty Blow once. And then you could skirmish it and knock it back, or you could do Stay Aware, which you'll need to make a perception test at 11.
What is Stay Aware?
Stay Aware basically kind of gives you the lay of the land, and it gives you a +1 bonus to the next test you make.
Okay. What is Mighty Blow?
Mighty Blow lets you add another d6 to that damage.
I'm doing another d6.
Okay.
Do I add the 2 again, or?
No, just roll me one more d6.
Ooh, so that's
10
damage.
Alright, take a look and see what that does to it. Oh god, it's got no natural armor. That's right.
I mean, look, its ribs are exposed.
Yeah, you know, that's a fair point. Yeah, that took a chunk out of it. With one hit. Alright. And then you're gonna have a +1 to whatever your next test is.
Okay. Oh, so I got to do 2 of them.
No, I mean, whatever your next test is, you get a +1. So, like, if your next attack, you'll get a +1 modifier.
No, but I meant I got to do Mighty Blow and the Stay Away.
Yeah, because Mighty Blow is 2 and Stay Alert is 1.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Nice.
Yeah. So it is going to roll 86. It's going to go in
Next
for...
test is going to be the Constitution, though, if he hits.
Yeah. And this time he is going in for his Empowered Claw attack.
Fun. Nope.
I don't think that hits.
That does not hit.
That is a miss.
That is a miss. Swing and a miss. So I get to attack now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a +6 now that I have on him.
Yes, you do.
That's a 23 with 6 stunt
With 6
points.
stunt points. So, would you like to do a little thing called Lethal Blow?
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Lethal Blow allows you to add an extra 2d6 on your damage, and you still have 1 left over, which could let you do the Stay Aware stunt again.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna stay aware with my Lethal Blow.
Real quick, make me a perception test. You need to make an 11. I didn't do that on the last one, but this should have done.
Okay, so 3d6 plus 4. That's a 13.
Yep. So you have that bonus for your next attack, and go ahead and roll whatever your ridiculous damage is right now, which I think is 46 plus your strength.
2. Yeah, plus 2. It is a 16.
That hurt. And here I was worried about putting you up against this thing. You're fucking kicking its ass.
Good rolls, man. Good rolls.
Okay. It is going to, since you've hurt it enough, it is going to do its special attack.
Yay. Miss, 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 miss. Big money, no worries. Hey, you missed.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it missed again.
Thank you, dice gods.
So this is basically what you see. It rears its head back, and it sort of rolls its head to one side, and in doing so, it unleashes a torrent of ice from its mouth in your general direction. However, it misses you by a pretty good margin, and you watch as like these ice spikes form where it used its breath weapon.
Nice. Okay, so 3d6 plus another 6, or plus 1. So 3d6 plus 6. That is a 14.
That's a hit.
And I didn't get any stunts, sadly. So 3d6, or 2d6 plus 2. Another 11.
That's just enough to. Oh, so you just did 11 damage to it, yeah.
Yeah, just straight up 11 damage.
Yeah. Okay. It is going to attack you again with the breath weapon, because it can do that
2
now.
times.
It can do that up to its constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And its constitution modifier is a 6.
Oof.
So, yeah. Does a 12 hit?
Nope.
All right. Wow, this thing is rolling like shit. Go ahead and, it does the same thing again as it rears out and
16.
That's a hit.
That's 7 this time.
You're looking like you've done probably a good bit, at least half of its damage. As you're just kind of steamrolling this thing.
I can't, like, intimidate it at all, can I? I can't, like, scream at it.
You could try on your next turn.
Okay, but then I wouldn't be able to attack, would I?
No.
No. Okay.
Does a 20 hit?
20 does hit.
Okay.
Was this the special breath weapon?
This is the special breath weapon.
Okay.
But luckily for you, no stunt points.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be penetrating damage, so it halves your armor.
So that just 1 armor?
Your 1 armor?
Yeah, because it's
Light leather?
it's just leather armor. So
Okay.
it's 3. Half of that, I'm just rounding down, is 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's going to be 11 points of cold damage, and make me a constitution check.
Okay. 4, 3d6 plus 4. 14.
You're still okay.
Yep.
As that breath weapon hits you, as the ice crystals form around you, they actually tear into your skin and grow along your armor, making it harder to move. But you sort of shake through it as you're kind of channeling, starting to really pick up that heat of battle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your turn.
Mm-hmm. 3d6 plus 5. That'll be a 17, Chris.
That is definitely a hit.
2d6 plus 2. It'll be a 9.
Okay. Alright, so as you hit it, dropped it under half health. As you hit it, you notice that the glow inside of its like decaying chest cavity is starting to really, really get brighter. And you notice that the wind starts becoming a lot more violent around you. I need you to make a constitution check, please.
Okay. It is a 13.
It just makes it.
Yes.
This cold, chilling wind seems to come down from the north and swirl around you and this creature. You notice that the blade of your axe is starting to frost over.
Mm-hmm.
By now, your feathery hair and and the locks of hair mixed in with the feathers are starting to frost on the tips and along the lengths of them.
Mm-hmm.
You feel the shiver of it. You're starting to get cold, and despite how much heat you're putting off from just the sheer exertion, it's still pretty cold, but it's not affecting you in any detrimental way just yet.
Okay. And was that his action?
Nope, that is just a thing that happens when it gets under a certain amount of health. So it is its turn. And second verse, same as the first. It's going to try and fuck you up and put you in a hearse.
Yep. That hits.
That does hit. That's a 19 with 5 stunt points.
5 oh yeah. Fuck.
And it is going to do lethal spell, which is basically lethal blow.
Mm-hmm. But with magic.
But with magic. So that's going to be 66 of penetrating damage.
Oof.
It's 25.
24 damage.
Yeah. How's Macha doing?
I'm at 27 health.
Okay, so yeah, this thing is just kind of turnabout fair played on you, as it takes you down to probably close to half health.
Mm-hmm. A little bit under.
A little bit under. Okay, and go ahead and make me another Constitution check.
Okay. Oh, and I forgot, stamina does apply to this, doesn't it?
Yes.
I've been doing that wrong. Okay, but 13.
You're still good, but
Okay.
you're shivering now.
Okay.
You also hear off to the side. You hear the sound of one of your squad mates screaming, and the sickening sound of like flesh, like being rended.
Fuck. Yeah, I'm not gonna pay attention to that.
Okay.
So, does my raging take my action?
No, it's an activate action. So it takes it like if you wanted to like use a crossbow or ready a weapon, that's an activate action.
Okay, so I will do that.
Mm-hmm. So you're raging.
I'm raging, so that takes me
Okay.
down to 13 defense. And I'm going to attack him.
Okay.
I don't get any bonus fucking
Get a
actions with this.
+1. No extra actions.
Yeah.
Extra
so-
actions are mostly done through stunts in this game.
Okay. Gotcha. +2 bonus on willpower, courage, and willpower, morale. So I just get a bonus if I hit him.
Yeah.
Okay. Does an 18 hit with 4 stun points?
It most certainly hits. Would you like to cast two mighty blows?
Yes, I would.
That's an extra 2d6 worth of damage plus whatever your modifiers are while you're raging.
Wait, 2d6 on top of the stuff?
On top of your strength modifier?
Okay, so
On
2d6,
top of-
so that's 4d6 plus 3.
Yep, and then whatever your berserker.
Yeah, that's
bonus
part of the
gives you.
3, because I have a
Yeah.
strength of 2, plus that extra 1.
All right, go ahead and roll them bones.
That is 22.
It's really, really, really hurt. Like really, really, really hurt, but it's still alive.
I'm guessing it has 1 health point left.
It's in a neighborhood, yeah.
Mm.
Does a 12
Nope.
hit?
Nope, 13, bitch.
Then, yeah, it releases another breath weapon at you. And it's coming down only has a few more of those.
Going to attack again.
Okay.
21! 6
6
stun
stun
points.
You want to mighty blow it?
I'm gonna mighty blow it.
Okay.
46 plus 3. And just making sure. Do I have any stun points left after the mighty blow?
If you want to do mighty blow is 5 stun points, or lethal blow. I'm sorry, is 5
Lethal
stun
blow.
points.
Which is just the two extra dice, right?
Yeah. You can do stay aware if you want.
Yeah, I'll do stay aware on top of that.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
first I'm gonna do my damage. 'Cause I can. 21!
So, first, tell me how you do it.
So I'm in a rage. And those frosted feathers are at end. Her eyes, I don't know if they could change color, but if they could, they'd be just fucking blazing red. And she's got this ice all around her, and she kind of, there's a little bit that she got on her shoulder from the thing doing its breath weapon, and she just kind of cracks her neck and just jumps up in the air and slams her axe down on its skull, its exposed skull, splitting it in 2.
Nice.
And she is screaming like a big loud roar.
So, you scream, and you hear the sound of the ice crackling, but it doesn't seem to stop. And that bright light becomes brighter and brighter and brighter until it explodes in an explosion of ice, which is going to be... We will see. But this is not penetrating damage
Okay.
for some reason. It's 17 damage.
So minus 3. 15.
Yeah.
Oof.
What does that take you?
Wait. Did I do that right? I'm at 12.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, that explosion happens. But otherwise, as it sort of dissipates, you just see like this field of barren ice around you now. The trees have been blown away in the explosion.
Oh, and I need to do the perception check.
Yeah. Well, you don't really need to because we're out of combat now.
Oh, we are?
Yep.
What about the others, though?
But you have succeeded.
Yay.
And, yeah, you notice that there are quite a few areas in the tree line that are pretty much like that. But you do notice that there's no sign of your compatriots.
Damn it, so I don't get my +1 to look for them?
You know what, I'll let you have it, sure.
Okay. Do I still have to do the check?
I'll just let you have a +1 to your check because you kind of kicked that thing's ass.
Okay. So 3d6 plus a 5. That is 13. Damn.
You find the signs of where they were fighting, but you don't find them.
I'm rough right now, aren't I?
What's your total?
Like what I have right now or what I should have? My max.
What's your max?
67. I'm down to 12.
Yeah, you're in rough shape.
Okay, I'm gonna turn into a bird. Again.
When you go to turn into a bird, your body racks with pain.
Oof.
You're just like the strain of trying to switch into this other form just is a little bit too much for your body right now to handle.
Okay.
You're shivering, you're
Okay, then I'm making my way back to the fucking compound.
okay. As you make your way back, and I don't know what the fuck happened to my fucking shit.
That's a lot of fucks, man.
It's all gone. I had this like really good thing, but yeah, oh well. Yeah. As you make your way back down the trail, sort of limping as you grow, you notice that everything seems extremely, extremely cold. And you're not really sure. You look around and you don't see. You see a lot of like you see the wagons just covered in ice. You see people just flash frozen where they stand, their faces contorted. And all you really hear is just this desolate sound.
Instead of going... Wait, so where did Killian say he would be?
He said he would be along the Merchant's Road, which you'd have to pass down through the town and go a little ways through.
Okay, so I'm going back to the garrison.
So as you pass through the town, you see that this ice has passed through the garrison gate. Down and through the town, the trees are completely covered in ice. Sound is empty. And you see people frozen along the trail. Some of them look like they threw their hands up to cover themselves from whatever was coming from the north. But they're all just kind of laying there, or standing there. You hear the crackling of ice around you, that sort of sound when you're walking through ice, or like you open up a freezer, and you hear that crackling of ice. It's like all you hear at the moment.
Are there any medical supplies at the barracks?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep, so I'm gonna go to the barracks since I see no one but dead people.
All right. Well, you make your way down there, and you're sort of as you're going down, you go ahead and make me a perception check.
Okay. That's a 16.
16 is enough. You see a pretty sizable pillar of ice formed around a hut further down from Killian's, but it's a hut you recognize.
Alice.
No. Alice is much further north.
Okay.
It's a hut where the rest of your family lives. Killian's parents.
I don't need medical supplies. I'm going over there.
As you make your way down the road, you sort of do you kind of pick up your pace?
A little bit, as much as I can in this state.
Yeah, maybe a little reckless.
A little bit.
Okay.
'Cause my baby boy.
As you're doing so, you bump one of the frozen figures, and when they fall over, they shatter. Go ahead and make me a dexterity athletics check.
I don't have athletics, oh no.
So it'd be just straight dex then.
Well, I do have deck. Yeah, 9.
Ooh. You're gonna stumble a lot, and you're gonna take, I'm gonna say, 5 more, just bludgeoning damage.
Okay, that's
From
I'm down to
constantly.
7.
Yeah, you fall a lot. You tumble a lot because I mean the terrain's all covered in ice. And
Makes
you're
sense.
not in a good you're not in a good way right now. But when you make it up to that, when you make it up to your I guess you could kind of call them in-laws' hut, the door is wide open.
Fuck. And she actually says fuck under her breath.
Somewhere along the lines of like a.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going in there.
You see Killian's father, Dane, sort of hovering over his wife, Killian's mother, Helena. They're both frozen solid, through and through. You notice that Kira is also frozen solid. It looks like she was reaching out towards something. But she is completely, she's frozen through and through, her eyes fixed. Everything underneath the ice just pale. Even her normally vibrant red hair is just this really faded out, almost bleached red underneath the ice.
Macha, like, chokes back a sob, because this is not the time for crying, but it takes pretty much all her fucking willpower not to cry.
And make me a perception test.
9. With 2 stunt points.
You're not going to hear it until the shadow sort of comes looming through the door of a presence behind you. And you see one of the Shivan standing there, sort of with their eyes kind of narrowed in a look of bewilderment. Probably what you would expect out of somebody who's like, the fuck happened here kind of look.
She kind of almost growls, but she's in such a weak state that it's barely anything.
This your family, little Morrigu.
Part of it. What happened?
Not exactly sure. We were down the road a good ways. My company and I. We saw these things come out of the forest. Didn't ever actually think that I'd ever see a Wendigo in my lifetime.
That's what they were? Wendigos?
Yes. Undead creatures summoned by a spirit of the north wind.
In necrotic, I'm going to say, like, whatever curse or cuss makes sense at this point in time. Just any swear word.
A woman responds to you in kind. Perhaps not the best time for that. When she responds to you in necrotic.
So my son is not here, correct?
No. He's not among the frozen.
She's just gonna kind of look at her for a second, and then start going back to the barracks so that she can patch herself up and go get her man.
Where are you going?
Do I look in any state to be walking around?
I wouldn't go into the barracks if I were you. Not unless you want to see what happened to the rest of your compatriots.
They're dead. I know it. But I'm gonna
She'll
make
nod.
sure.
She'll reach into her pouch and she'll throw you. Looks to be like a crystal vial of a red liquid.
She catches it.
Drink it. It's a bit harsh.
She downs it. She takes it like a fucking shot.
All right. Roll 5d5 and add your 5d6 and add your Constitution.
fuck.
Wow.
That's
You
a lot of
know,
ones.
some days you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. All
Yeah.
sorts of things happen. But you're definitely in a better state. Um, Probably the frostbitten wounds and the sort of necrotic flesh of frostbite sort of mend, and those bits fall off as other bits sort of rejuvenate in their place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not nearly what you were expecting, especially with this potent. This stuff seems really concentrated.
Mm-hmm.
It takes all you have to keep from like retching.
Okay.
But it's definitely made
Oh
of
wait,
like healing
stamina?
components. No, it's not gonna make you retch. Like you're
No, I
fine,
mean,
but
would I add
it's
my stamina specialty to that?
no, no.
Okay.
But yeah, she'll kind of step down towards you. There was a group of sellswords that came through here. The Gilded Vipers, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about them?
Southerners,
Mm-hmm.
particularly nasty, play dirty.
They're also a slaver front.
Slavers who use wendigos.
We had heard some rumors that they had gotten some northern support. We were up here hunting. Our friend Alice was our informant. She knew about this, or at least knew about what they were capable of.
I'm gonna start my way back to or I'm gonna start again. Like, if we had stopped walking, I'm gonna start
Mm-hmm.
going back to the barracks again. Because I
She'll
need more than this shit.
she'll walk with you. What will you do now?
I have a missing son, and hopefully a living baby daddy.
Which is more important to you?
Both.
If I had to guess, I'd imagine that retinue of people that they were leaving with were probably people they were taking as slaves. Several small ones in their midst.
I'm gonna fucking, like, wrap my hand around her goddamn throat.
Okay, make me a accuracy brawling roll.
Nice God, please be kind. This will be thematically amazing. 12.
She easily, sort of, just she doesn't even roll out of your way. She just kind of just casually sidesteps.
You did nothing.
Am I
And she
supposed to
just
fight a
continues to
war?
walk back. Like, before
Am I
she can
supposed
even
to?
respond, she starts walking the same direction she was going before that outburst.
Mm-hmm. You make your way into the barracks. She doesn't. She still trails you, but she gives you a little bit more respectable distance. And as you go in there, it's exactly what you expected,
Yeah.
or what she described. Um, you even see the guard captain frozen. It looks like she was in the midst of rallying the troops. She's looking back, and her mouth is open, And she has, her sword in one hand, looking like she was getting ready to raise it up over her head to count out a charge. And you see most of the other guards standing, or the other soldiers standing in various states of dress. Almost all of them, though, wielding or in the process of unsheathing weapons, as if they were ready to go out there in whatever state they were to go fight.
Boars?
Not among them. You don't need to roll for that. He's way too big. You've noticed that big block of ice.
Yeah. Okay, so first I'm gonna patch myself up.
Okay. I'll say that you can restore a third of your hit points.
Damn it, now I have to do math.
What's your grand total?
67.
67.
22.
Yeah.
22 plus 18 is 40. Okay.
Yeah. The Shivan, she'll offer you a roll of what look to be bandages that have a slight glow to them.
I'll put them on.
They don't heal, but they have a nice anesthetic quality to them. Just don't leave them on too long unless you want to glow like that. No more than a few days.
I nod.
The lichen tends to propagate once it gets a good hold.
And once I'm done patching myself up, I'm gonna go back to where all our stuff is, get whatever I can that's mine,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna actually look for Boris's book if it's still here somehow.
His kit's gone. He's
His
not
kit,
there.
everything's
His kit's
gone.
His kit, your baby daddy's kit, and about maybe half a dozen other kits are gone. That are that aren't garrisoned within the town themselves.
So his book would not be there.
No.
No. Okay.
The only thing that's there is his big bear pelt blanket, which he brought with him from home.
Is it frozen solid?
It's a pretty solid piece right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna turn to I don't know her name. Which direction?
Where do Southerners go?
South.
More than
And my baby
likely.
daddy's north, right?
Yep. He was headed up north towards Dwarven territory.
How far away would he have gotten?
If he set out the night before, probably 2 or 3 days ride.
What about flight? As the crow flies.
As the crow flies, you could probably make it in a day, but you would lose a lot of ground on the slavers.
Is there any way I can send a message to him?
There's a woman standing there who looks like she's pretty capable.
I don't trust this bitch. Are there any, like...
Desperate situations make strange bedfellows.
True. But would there be... How far is everything frozen? Like, would there be some places that, like, if indoors and locked away enough or kept away enough or high enough, would there be, like, a messenger pigeon or something like that?
Judging by what you've seen just from the 2 domiciles that you've entered into, probably everything is frozen solid. Like materials, you could probably shake out if you're careful with, but probably anything living is more than likely frozen stiff.
I'm gonna eye this bitch up and down.
It's fairly attractive.
Not like that.
Okay.
What are your plans?
Well, I wanted to hunt down this northern agent that they had procured the services of. But something tells me with this kind of power, they probably don't stray too far from their source of it. I wonder. And she'll tap her chin. I'll probably head north.
You see my man, you tell him what happened. And you tell him I'm getting our son back.
Do you even have the faintest of where to go?
South is south?
South is south. There's a place called Westerport. About a day's ride outside of a town called Guadoren. I'd imagine that they would probably stop in that town and absorb the festival that's going to be going on in about 3 months. It'll probably take you that long to travel by foot.
Good thing I have wings. And as I say that, I'm literally gonna turn into a bird and fly out the door.
And yeah, you fly out the door, you see the rest of her retinue. You notice that there's 2 more people in that group, 2 males,
Mm-hmm.
that are similarly dressed. One of them one of them wielding a partisan spear. The other one looks like it's wearing two daggers on their hip as you fly out.
If I'm a crow, I'll make my little caw-caw. If I'm a raven, I'll do my little croak.
Yeah, you're a raven.
Okay, yeah, so I croak
Mm-hmm.
as I fly by.
And yeah, so as you fly by, you fly off into the distance, chasing after these gilded vipers. And I think there's a perfect place to end our scene. So thank you, player, for playing, and thank you, any watchers, for watching.